What's up, everybody? We're here to talk about the 2020. Hold up, we're talking about performance Harley. Let me get situated. All right, now we're talking about Harley-Davidson. We're talking about performance. I'm a Dyna bro. You know how it is. Harley-Davidson, over the course of the last couple weeks, has been teasing a photo that you may have seen on Instagram, you may have seen on Facebook, or on their website of just a highlight portion of a tank with the AMA style badging on the gas tank. People were speculating, what could it be? Is it a Road Glide Sport? Is it the new touring lowrider? That the sky was the limit. People were speculating all kinds of things, and today they announced the official release of the FXLRST, as well as the Road Glide ST and the Street Glide ST. Currently it is playing off in the background. That was the big announcement for the reveal and the announcement that they did earlier this morning at 10 a.m. and a lot of people were taken away. In today's video, we're going to be talking mainly about the Road Glide ST as well as the FXLRST. But before we do, I want to give a huge shout out to the team over at GoPro Setup that they recently jumped on board in support of this channel and have provided us with our own 15% off coupon code. You can find that down below in the drop down section where you can save yourself 15% off any of their systems found on their website, whether you're going just for an entry-level system or you want a duo pack, which is what we have here, whether you're wanting to get Bluetooth comms for you and your partner, or if you do both street riding and a different type of riding where you'll have two helmets. Like for us, we have our dirt bike helmet and then we have our street helmet, which is outfitted with the Cardo Pack Talk Bold. They have plenty of options. Be sure to check them out at cardosystems.com. The link will also be down below where you can also find that 15% coupon code. It is an affiliate link, and anytime you do purchase something using that link, as well as any of the other affiliate links you can find down below, it helps support the channel, and I thank you very much. Now let's dive into this FXLRST. The T is going to stand for touring. Pretty much what Harley did was that they bridged the gap between your cruisers and then kind of like your entry-level bagger or your performance bagger, where what I was surprised about was the price point. Harley being Harley, I was expecting them to be out frolicking, doing Harley things and just thinking to themselves, I don't know, let's just pick a number and just go with that. And then some of them were like, oh, what about 23? Nah, it's still a little bit too low, let's bump it. I was expecting something like 23 to 25, but when I saw 21.7, I was extremely surprised, but I wasn't expecting much, as it's like Harley continues to just say, oh, we got something in the bag, big things coming, just wait, and then it's like, okay, cool. That it is nice to see Harley-Davidson finally looking towards your general consumer and what they're doing, what the aftermarket's doing, what people are doing to their motorcycles, and they're wanting to give you something like that right off of the sales floor, which is very awesome to see, because you can go to your dealership, sign the paper, and then take that bike, load it with luggage, whatever you're doing, and go explore the backcountry. Go across the United States, go to Sturgis, go to Canada, Renegade Riot. And then they also added the 117 motor in both the Lowrider ST and the Road Glide ST. So you're going to be going further faster. You're going to have increased horsepower from the previous versions of the Lowrider S and the Lowrider and all the other M8 Softails. That it's really nice to see. You have this lighter bike compared to the bagger, compared to the Road Glide, that it's gonna feel a lot peppier, a lot faster. It's gonna get a little bit torquier. You're gonna be like ripping and roaring, even fully loaded down. Now, the first thing that we have to address is that fairing. Oh, bud, not a fan. But in the video, Harley said, this is innovative yet familiar. It's kind of stretching it. It's like when you're beefing up your resume. I curate and manage my social media as the coordinator of blah, blah, blah. So pretty much I just posted stuff on my Instagram is what it was. But that's kind of what I got from it. That, again, it is nice to see. Good job, Harley. Good for swinging. Good job for trying. Love it. Love to see it. Let's see some more of it. We're going to be talking based on, I kind of wish that they would have done a little bit further on that Road Glide. But the fairing on the Lowrider ST, the leaked photo that they were tossing everywhere, the first it had that really big toenail looking thing, I just wasn't a fan of it. It just looked horrendous. The fairing itself, I'm not really feeling it. But it's the photos and videos that they showed on the announcement and reveal video, it was a little bit more tolerable and easier to ingest. That it's also indicative and kind of pays homage to the FXRT fairing that a lot of people are placing on their bikes. And then the Sport Glide bags that everyone was paying an arm and a leg for, they are now coming standard on the FXLRST. But the main difference between the Sport Glide and the FXLRST bags is that the mounts for the new Lowrider ST versus the Sport Glide is that they sit 2 inches higher than they did on the Sport Glide. So that's pretty neat. It gives you a little bit more clearance. It's keeping in line with that sport touring, giving you more of a lean angle. And it is nice to see, along with coming with cruise control. That is super neat because our lowrider, our regular lowrider, which is no longer here, was discontinued after I think 2 years. They said, sorry, suckers, it doesn't have cruise control. There's been a few times where we're going to California or Colorado where I was kind of like, man, it'd be nice to have cruise control or to set it. When we were riding around with Sid, he would just put his cruise control and he'd have his camera and just was able to fully mess around while remaining vigilant and aware of the surroundings in front of him. It's like, don't text and drive. Cool, let me just take a couple photos and do my thing. That it would be very beneficial for that. I think that would be nice to have on mine. I'm not going to put it on because I just don't feel like it. I don't think it's worth the effort because at this point I've been this long without it. Why start now? But going back to that fairing, I feel like it's unfinished. Like they had an idea, they were going with it, like, yeah, come on, dude, oh, keep feeding the fuel, let's keep feeding that fire. And then they say, ah, you know, that's good enough, wrap it up, start production, people are gonna buy it anyway. We're giving them the bags, and now the fairing, let's not spoil them too much. That I kind of wish that they included glove boxes. That would have been very nice to see because you're going further, faster. It would have just been nice to have something to store your phone, store some snacks, store some gift cards to your local coffee shop. Or, you know, your whatever, GPS maps, everything. Or even some sort of just a small infotainment. It doesn't have to be anything grand, just a small one. But they did give you the Rockford Fosgate waterproof speakers. But again, it's like a lot of people are running comms. It is nice to have the speakers on your fairing. When we did have audio on our fairing, it was very nice because then you could talk to your buddies while also listening to your music. You take a phone call, all that stuff. It was very nice. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I feel like they just kind of gave us the bare minimum. They gave us a very basic fairing, a very basic fairing. It kind of feels more just like a shell exoskeleton. Or it would have been cool to even see some auxiliary pods. They're just like, hey, we also have these, or you can buy these, add these on. It's really neat. And then outside that, again, the motor, it saw a 117 in it, and then it also moved the gauge clusters. It got rid of the dual. It cleaned up the dash, and then moved it to the top clamp of the riser, similar to your FXBB. It's the same inverted forks and the rear monoshock that the previous versions had, the FXLRS has on the 22. Now, is it a good bike to buy? For the price point at $21,700, I'm gonna say, yeah, dude. That if the dealership says like that the manufacturer suggested retail price is $21,795, will it be sold at $21,795? Probably not, you know, but you have TTNL and all that side that maybe puts you at $24,000, and that would be sick if that's what you got out the door. Dealership said, hey, we're gonna sell it out the door, come and get it. We'd be very tempted to go get one. But again, we're too far deep into our FXLR lowrider that's been dubbed for Frankenbob because it's got all kinds of stuff. And it's just not beneficial for us to dive into that. Or we don't have, as well as we don't have the funds for a second bike to go and snag them. But again, if you are considering it and you haven't done much to your bike, or you're able to go back to stock and you get a decent amount for your trade, hot diggity dog, jump on it, because you get the bags, you get the full fairing. If you're not a fan of the bags like we are, sell those bad boys. These Sport Glide bags were going for $3,000 to $4,000 on aftermarket. You said it on Facebook Marketplace, on your MA groups on Facebook. People were looking for those left and right. So you can definitely sell those just ASAP and get yourself a set of Elite Touring Innovations performance caster brackets. Throw some Pelicans on them bad boys, and you're ready to rock. I will say it would also been nice to see a tour pack option, just because they are going with that sport touring on the lowrider. It does do a great job at merging those two classes, those two platforms of the Harley classes of your cruiser and then your grand touring. That's a great merger right there. That would have just been cool, because basically Laidlaw Harley-Davidson had done 4 or 5 versions of it, and there was that one I think he did for his worker, for an employee of his. I'm not sure what the relationship was, but it was that gray and maroon one that came out just amazing with that tour pack. It had the full fairing, and that was probably one of my favorite ones. Another one that you could check out, just is going to be Texas Tequila. His bike is done up proper. I mean, oh man, probably one of my favorite Harleys out there for the newer Softails. That he did a great job. He's got that fuller fairing on there, just a wicked paint job, just 10 out of 10. So give him a follow on Instagram, check him out. Super sick bike, shout out to Aaron. Now we move on to the big mamma jamma, the Road Glide ST. That one's at $29,999 like we talked about. Ooh, bud, that one's up there. But again, they did the sport touring that from the photos, it seemed to have more ground clearance as if they lifted the rear shocks up, as well as they didn't put those stretched bags like the previous models. And they went with the standard size bag where you have more of that ground clearance for those fellas out in California that are ripping out those canyons, just straight carving, dude. One of the things that I did notice is that in the video that they just showed was that they showed a pair of Screaming Eagle Öhlins Performance piggyback reservoir shocks. What you look at online, it doesn't show it with the piggyback reservoir. So I think it's going to be your standard shocks that come on the baggers, and then you have the option to upgrade to your Screaming Eagle Öhlins Performance. That they labeled it as your Performance Bagger Trim Kit. That's kind of your entry level, like it's ready to rock and roll. Where I don't think I can agree with that. That it would have been much nicer to see. Again, I understand that they have quotas to meet or to get profit, to continue to stay in business and continue exploring these avenues, but Harley, come on. Do a bagger, do a Road Glide Sport Standard. The Road Glide SS. Come on, you know you like the sound of it, let's do it. Where? It's a bare bones Road Glide, no infotainment center, it's just the fairing, you get all that good stuff, but also, instead of dual shock, swap it to the monoshock. Monoshock is the way. Then keep the motor, do all that stuff. But one thing that would be nice to see, they're going to continue to call it as like, and I do understand that they label it as a trim kit, but to do a true Road Glide, say sport, where they might have the titanium nitride coated forks, even if they did like a faux carbon plastic fender, just something, even just like a decal over a metal fender that's carbon, that would be pretty cool. It's like pretty high speed, but maybe some people are like, if it's not true carbon, I don't want it. Because like if you look at the Indian FTR 1200, I believe it's the carbon tier trim level. It has the tin coated forks as well as carbonics. This is in the name. Sky's the limit. And depending on exactly what the budget is and what the cost for manufacturing, I think that would be really cool to see the Road Glide Sport to kind of go into there, because you're still paying $30,000 for a trim level kit and you're really getting a basic Road Glide standard. Like they just added an and then charged an extra $3,000 because you're getting bronze stuff on it. It just makes no sense. They also removed the 2-up seat and they're giving you a solo seat. So in fact, you're getting less. What? Come on. That just do, again, Road Glide standard, do a solo seat, do monoshock again, do inverted front forks, even just hell, titanium nitride standard forks, that's cool. Basic ass fairing, or even that Lowrider ST fairing, mixed and stuck together already. And then also that they could have done mids on the Lowrider ST. That the person who did the fairing and I guess everything else, one of the designer folk that was on the team, he stated that for that bike, the Lowrider ST, he wanted the rider to feel like he was on top of the bike and not in it. And they said that they gave it mids, but it was like those forward mids like the previous M8 Softails had. It would have been nice to see that with kind of more of like a Dyna style true mid. Or hell, even a similar like a mid rear, kind of like on your adventure bikes, specifically the 1250 GS Adventure, where they're a little bit under you and slightly behind you. They also have added height of the bigger gas tank, but still, that would be something to explore perhaps. Similar to that, their new Sportster, they're going to bring, that they announced that they're going to be doing a further announcement of something big coming for that, but it's going to be the same thing. I'm predicting. I'm figuring it's going to be the same thing, just slightly different colors. Again, innovative yet familiar, further faster on a smaller tank. But for that, it comes standard with forward controls on the Sportster S. And you have the option to buy the mids. I really wish, let's do these hands for emphasis, that they would stop being Harley and just frickin' commit, dude. If you're gonna do an S model, do a frickin' S model, dude. Like, put those frickin' mids, do those mids standard, and if you wanna get forwards, get the forwards. Like, come on, dude. Like with the FXDR, I don't know if it was the FXDR, FXDRS, whatever that version is, they put forwards on it. Like, yeah, dude, even like with the V-Rod. Yeah, dude, we got performance. Boom! Like, what? No. Put it where you can like be on it, you know, position, have fun, instead of just like, oh man, what's up, guys? Oh, hey, dude, I'm turning. Just, no, dude. Harley, come on. Just show me what you're working with on the next big reveal, and I'm gonna come in there and be like, hot diggity dog, we gotta go back to the drawing board. And by we, I mean y'all. I'm gonna go enjoy my Topo Chico. That is the Road Glide a good bike to buy? The Road Glide ST, I'm gonna say, no, dude, you're better off buying you're better off just buying your basic Road Glide and then just doing that as your performance trim level and saving your money. They were trying to close the gap on like, hey, this is a perfect place to start because it's your performance bagger trim kit, but you're wasting money to get the bronze colored stuff on the grips and on the motor and the chopped bags. Just buy your bike, sell the bags that are on it, buy chopped bags, and then go from there. It just makes no sense on that one. Now, regarding the Lowrider ST, that one's actually pretty beneficial, I think, if you were wanting to make the swap, or if it was your first bike, you're wanting to get something that you could haul, that you could crush heavy miles, but at the same time also take off the fairing and the bags and just kind of go a little bit more naked on just a couple runs around town where you're not as big of a footprint with the bigger front fairing and the bags. That I think that one's a little bit more flexible and beneficial to riders. What are y'all's thoughts on the new Lowrider ST as well as the Road Glide ST? Do you feel like you're going to be picking it up, or is there something that you wish Harley will continue going down this path and pick something up, like the monoshock touring platform, or perhaps inverted forks across the line? I appreciate y'all, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Cheers.